guys, Steve here from Wilderness 333, and I'm going to be doing another episode of Survival for Non-Survivalists today. This is a series I've been doing that's just been really fun. A lot of people have been commenting on it that I'm taking stuff that I've learned in bushcraft and kind of translating it over to the outdoor community, people who like to go on day hikes and stuff like that. As I look at some of my subscribers, a lot of them maybe might not be into bushcraft a lot, but they still love going into the outdoors, and there's things I think I've learned that could translate well that I didn't know before when I would go out on day hikes. We've talked about getting fire started. We've talked about boiling water to sanitize it. We've talked about knives, which was my favorite one last time. We were talking about using fixed blade knives to baton, to cut into wood, to get to the dry stuff if you need to start a fire and everything was wet. Today, I'm going to add on to that with my second favorite topic, something I geek out pretty bad over, and it's called fatwood. Fatwood is stuff that, when things are really wet, and even if you're able to baton down into the dry stuff, fatwood can really, really help you get your fire started. There's been a number of times when stuff was really wet, and I used some fatwood shavings or some fatwood chips to help my fire get going, to sustain it. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So come along with me. So what is fatwood? If you've never heard of fatwood before, I know a lot of you have. Fatwood comes from pine trees, and it's the resin or the sap that often after a tree or a branch has died, it settles into the trunk or to the different branches, and it solidifies, and that sap becomes just super hard, and it's just really flammable. It lights really easily, burns hot, burns bright, burns quick, and it can really help you starting your fires. And I'm going to show you, I've got some here. I'm going to splice in some shots of what some looks like here if it was focused in a little bit better. Okay, here's an example of fatwood. You can see right in here that's really smooth inside the wood. I've carved away at it. It's got that marble color. It's got that deep sort of red, really smooth there, and you can see another couple pieces. Here's a big chunk of it that can get in focus. You can just tell this is it's that deep kind of orange color. Got a few other pieces here you can see, and a lot of times one of the ways you know it's fatwood is it smells really good, has a deep sort of pine sol resin smell. Personally, I love it. It's also really heavy. This branch wouldn't look like it weighs very much, but because it's so packed with that resin, it's super heavy. So that's basically what it looks like and how you can identify it. And let me show you, just before I show you how you collect it and where you can get it, I want to show you real quick how you can use it. So one of the ways you can use this is just really get some shavings off of it. So I've got a stick here that I actually batoned into to make some edges. You can make feather sticks out of this, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. I'm not going to take up time for it today. But remember, if you're carrying a knife, a fixed blade knife similar to what I talked about last week, you can get it on some wood and you can make shavings. And making shavings, you can put those on top of your cotton balls like we've been talking about. And you get yourself a decent chunk of these, and they're really going to start off fast. You can also use sticks of it. Little pieces like this as you're getting to it work really good too. Always the thing with wood that's important to remember is wood always starts easier and better on corners and edges instead of just plain old round pieces like this. If I was just going to throw this in the fire, I'd be better off cutting in, batoning it down into two because it starts better on the edges. So those little shavings, little sticks like this, really good ways to start a fire, and I think I'll show you that in a few minutes here. Alright, so where can you get fatwood? Of course, like I said, they come from pine trees, often dead pine trees. Some of the best places, just want to talk to you about a few places I love to get fatwood. A dead tree stump. If you found a tree stump that's just there, from a dead tree that's kind of rotten away from a pine tree, getting into that, oftentimes you're going to find fatwood. Also in the knots in the beginning of branches from trees that have fallen down, sort of the branches that come away and the knot that's there, that's where this one came from. This was sticking out of there, and this is the knot area. This is total fatwood in here. And then the other place you can get it is from the root system. If a tree has fallen over, this is one of the best places. If a tree has fallen over and the roots are exposed that have come out of the ground, a lot of times you're going to find great fatwood there. And in a kind of a survival situation, another great place to find it is actually the branches that are still on a living tree towards the bottom. the branches actually died, the tree's still alive. A lot of times, very, very close to the tree, you're gonna find some good fat wood as well. So let me show you a couple of these and some examples of where we can find it. And I think we're gonna find some gold mines. All right, let's go on a little walk here, and I will show you some of the places I found around here, just a normal pine forest, where we can find some fat wood. So come along with me, and now you're gonna need probably a knife to be doing this. You don't have to. It's gonna help a ton. But I will show you some, and I might use an axe a little bit just to show you, for example, but you'll be able to get into what we're talking about with a knife as well. So sometimes you have to test it a little bit. Here we go. Here's some stumps, like I told you before. Now, I've gotten into this one. Here's another stump that's got some good stuff in it, just regular tree stump. It's rotten out. And you can use your knife and just kind of chop away. This is really good stuff. You can see the color there. So you get those little pieces. Man, it smells good here. And look at that. It's just, I mean, it's just, you can feel it's almost wet. Put these in our pocket. We'll move on. So here's another place you can get it. This is a branch of a live tree, but the branch is dead. Nothing on the branch. And right in here is fat wood. Probably here is not. So, you know, you could get in there. I'm not going to be able to do it with the camera, but you could get in there with your knife and just make off some shavings. Just kind of sneak it in there. I mean, you can, of course, chop from here, but it'd be probably better. You could just kind of shave it off. Or if you can manage to kick it, cut one of these off right here, then you've got your whole area of fat wood. So that's one place you can get it. That's for sure. I can smell it. That's good fat wood right there. So one place you can get it. Let me show you a couple more. My favorites are still to come. Okay, here is another amazing place to get some fat wood. This tree is dead and rotten out, and a lot of times you can get it from these knots right in here. If you go into here, look at that. Pure fat wood right there. Now, I think a lot of times with these trees, you can probably just pull off some of these knots if it's rotten enough. So, I just pulled this out. This is crazy heavy. The whole bottom of this is going to be full of fat wood. And you didn't even need to use your knife. And if you have your knife now, you can get your shavings. This is one of the best and easiest places, bar none, to find fat wood. You look there, look at that core. It's absolutely wet with resin. Great place to get it. So any of these, if you can pull them off, you can kick them off, you get to the root of that knot, you've got fat wood. And next to us is my second favorite place, right here. Now this is going to be just, you can see this is a tree that actually when it fell over, the roots are up. It's been here for a long, long time, and it is completely almost composed of fat wood. Right here, I cut that off with a saw. It's all fat wood. You cut into it, it's all fat wood. So if you came up to this with your knife, you could easily start kind of shaving away at it, kind of chopping away, and get your pieces just like that. Or just start peeling it away. On something rotten like this, you get right in there, you've got your fat wood just like that. Man, if you really want and you have a saw, you can cut off big pieces and throw it in your fire like I've talked about before. So you get a cotton ball going. And as it starts to burn, just get some some of this fat wood going on there. Just put these chips that I made earlier, and this stuff just takes off. It smells wonderful. I don't know if you can see it, but you've got some real black smoke coming off there as the resin burns. It smokes black. It smells wonderful. Now if you were to have wet wood, or wood that was just mildly wet, and you have some of this that you've gotten from a tree inside that's drier, you carried it with you, it's really going to help you get it going, because once you have a fire that big, it's a lot easier to put some mildly damp wood on it and see it burn. So there you go, the whole piece on fat wood. Where the resin is settled in, that wood is just crazy flammable. It starts really easy, and you can get it from dead pine trees or dead branches. You can get it simply with a knife, like I've asked you to carry. If you're looking to really harvest it, take a little folding saw with you, the Baco saw, flies through it, or a little hatchet. It's gonna, if you want to just harvest it to have it to start your fires with it. Smells good. I keep it in my house just to make my house smell good. But again, if you want to carry some with you, you could usually find it. If you wanted to carry some with you, I carry some in a little Ziploc bag. That way it's always dry. You could take it with you and help you start a fire. But you can find it, if you're where there's pine forest, you can almost always find it from a dead tree or a dead stump, or the knots in those trees. Again, it's going to be light. Again, cheap, because it's free. You don't have to pay a dime for fat wood. You can buy it in the stores, but man, you can find it anywhere you go. So that's fat wood. It's super fun stuff. I love it. I geek out a little bit over fat wood. If anyone knows me, they laugh at me about it. But you can now find it yourself. Play around with it a little bit. Try burning some a little bit, and you'll see kind of how well it works and what you can do with it. Thanks again for watching another episode of Survival for Survivalists. Hope it's been helpful. For those of you who are asking where to get fat wood, hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, just put them down in the comments section, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye.